In this lesson, we will talk a bit more about a key programming concept that was mentioned earlier: indexing. It is crucial for you to develop a solid understanding of how indexing works, since you will need it frequently when working with data structures, not just in pandas, but also in many other libraries and programming languages. Here, we will focus on a pandas series object since it represents the perfect example of how one can use an index data structure. However, please keep in mind that the approach we adopt will be applicable to pandas data frame objects, as well as other data structures in Python. To aid us while explaining the use of an index, we will work with a series created from a dictionary, as opposed to a list or an array. Let's start coding, and you'll see why we made this choice. Execute the first cell to create an object called prices per category. Then, we will pass it as an argument of the type function to confirm it is a dictionary. Done. Next, let's overwrite the content of the same variable by assigning to it the outcome of the pd.series method that contains data corresponding to prices per category. If we check the type of the same object now, we will see that it has become a pandas series. Nice! So, why did we create this series object using a dictionary and not something else? As we observe the contents of prices per category, we can say that the data from the key value pairs of the dictionary has been preserved. More importantly, though, we can see that the keys have been translated into index values. These index values, or indices, act as access labels that can explicitly indicate the integer values we have on the right. To tell you the truth, this is exactly what a series index needs to do. It contains index values that point to the relevant data points stored in the series. Perfect. What I'd like to emphasize next is that the series index is in fact a separate object, and it should be treated as such. To prove this, we can refer to the output of the index attribute of our series. As we execute the relevant code, which is prices per category.index, we do get a message that practically indicates this is an index object containing string values. All right, considering what you've seen so far in this video, it might seem that using an index is very intuitive. It can be, but there are many subtleties to it, as using indexes has many practical applications when working with pandas. On that note, there are a few crucial points to remember about index data structures in pandas. First, an index allows you to refer to a position within a sequence, or, in other words, a set of values in a sequenced order. Second, we provided a fairly simple example with the prices of 3 categories. However, imagine that this series was longer, and by longer, I mean having thousands of rows. In that case, you probably won't remember the prices of all categories by heart. That's when an index becomes so handy. It will solve this problem for you. In programming terms, this means that you will be able to quickly access the prices of the relevant categories through their respective indices. Finally, don't forget that as a separate object, the index data structure will often turn out to be a way to speed up your computations while working with large data sets. Great! I hope that the explicit index of the prices per category series was useful to better understand how indices work. At the same time, things can be a bit more interesting. Yes, you probably guessed it. In pandas, you can also have implicit indices. To learn what this means, we'll need to go through an explanation about the difference between label-based and position-based indexing in Python. We'll deal with these topics in our next video. See you there!